Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, imagine taking the traditional $80,000 university degree, right? Just completely tearing it up and replacing it with a $19 a month subscription.
Yeah, it sounds almost reckless when you first hear those two numbers placed side by side.
Totally reckless. But that is the exact premise of a radical new white paper and announcement from EON AI Ventures that we're examining today, right here in April 2026.
Right. And this isn't, some hypothetical think piece about the distant future either.
No, definitely not. This is a live, immediate disruption. It's targeting the fundamental way we prove we're ready to enter the workforce.
Exactly. I mean, $80,000 of debt versus the monthly cost of like a streaming service. It's a huge contrast.
It is.
But that extreme contrast really highlights the structural tension we're diving into today. The source material outlines this massive, just widening canyon between traditional academic theory and the ruthless demands of a 2026 AI-driven economy.
And that is exactly why this deep dive matters directly to you listening right now. Because whether you're actively trying to upskill to survive the next round of automation, or maybe you're a hiring manager pulling your hair out trying to find talent that actually knows how to execute.
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of those right now.
Right? Or even if you're just fascinated by massive systemic shifts in how society functions. The ground is literally moving beneath our feet.
It really is. We're operating in an environment where knowing the history or theory of a subject is essentially useless to an employer now.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't. They need verified, undeniable proof that you can deploy modern technology in a live business setting.
Right. But to really grasp the sheer audacity of this $19 solution, we have to thoroughly understand the crisis that forced it into existence in the first place.
Definitely.
And, I mean, the numbers in this EON AI Ventures paper are, frankly, chilling.
They are. They're actually terrifying. The white paper pulls data from the International Labor Organization, and it highlights a specific metric. Right now, globally, there are 300 million young people classified as NEET.
300 million. Wow. And NEET stands for?
Not in employment, education, or training.
Okay, right. Not in employment, education, or training.
Exactly. 300 million. You have to understand, that isn't just a statistical anomaly.
No, that's huge.
Or like a slight inefficiency in the market. When a number gets that high, it represents a catastrophic system failure.
So it's basically telling us that global education systems are manufacturing a product, the graduate, that the modern workforce simply refuses to buy.
That's exactly it. The market is rejecting the product.
And the text places a massive share of the blame squarely on traditional universities.
Rightfully so, according to the paper.
Right, because we're talking about institutions charging anywhere from $20,000 to $80,000 for a degree. And the white paper describes these universities as being, quote, mired in legacy models.
Yeah, that phrasing is very telling.
They're trapped in curriculums that take years to approve. Which means by the time a student actually learns a tech skill, that skill is already like 3 versions out of date.
Exactly. Graduates are mortgaging their futures to buy this education, and they walk out into a market completely devoid of the practical AI skills employers are actually demanding.
It's a disaster. And this has led to a phenomenon that the recruitment expert panels in the paper call the experience wall.
Right, the experience wall, which is essentially the ultimate modernized catch-22.
Like, you need the experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience.
Exactly. That's the traditional frustration, right? However, the adoption of enterprise AI has turned that frustrating hurdle into a literal concrete wall.
Oh, man. How so?
Well, think about 10 years ago. An entry-level hire was expected to be a net negative for the first 6 months.
Right. The company basically paid to train you.
Exactly. But today, because AI has automated so much of the basic entry-level grunt work, companies expect entry-level human hires to operate at a mid-level capacity from day one.
Wow. So there's no onboarding grace period anymore.
None. Employers are demanding verifiable work history and fluency in deploying AI before they even grant you an interview.
But I have to push back here a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, are universities actually failing their core mission of creating well-rounded thinkers? Or are employer expectations just evolving so rapidly and, frankly, unreasonably that no traditional syllabus could ever possibly keep up?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the market just doesn't care about the philosophical purpose of a university.
They don't care about well-rounded thinkers.
No, the shift is purely pragmatic. The conversation among employers has moved entirely away from academic potential. They no longer care if you can write a brilliant essay on the socioeconomic impacts of artificial intelligence.
Because that's just theoretical.
Exactly.
No.
That's theory. They need to know if you can build an automated workflow that reduces their supply chain costs by 10% by next Tuesday.
Right. They need irrefutable evidence of execution.
Yes. And if you don't have it, you hit the wall.
And what makes this wall so incredibly brutal is the actual mechanism guarding it. Right?
The algorithms.
Yes. The paper notes that human resources departments aren't even the ones rejecting these graduates anymore. They're being filtered out by AI-powered hiring automation.
It's completely automated.
You literally have an AI algorithm scanning a resume, and if it doesn't see specific markers of practical deployment like autonomous AI system design, you are instantly discarded.
You never even speak to a human.
Exactly. So how does a person actually prove their competency to an unfeeling algorithmic gatekeeper?
Right. And this is exactly where EON AI Ventures introduces their specific intervention to tear down the wall.
Okay, let's get into the solution.
They've launched the EON AI Venture Builder Residency. And the most disruptive element right out of the gate is the accessibility.
The $19.
Yes, it is a $19 monthly subscription. It's designed to be completely global and entirely remote. You basically only need internet access and English proficiency.
And there's no, waiting for the fall semester to start.
No, there are rolling admissions.
Yeah.
And there's no long-term lock-in either.
See, but accessibility means absolutely nothing if the credentials aren't respected.
That's a fair point.
If I'm an HR manager and I see a $19 online residency on a resume right next to a 4-year degree from a state college, why would I take the residency seriously?
Well, the text mentions the program is built on 3 specific deliverables to counter that exact skepticism.
Okay, let's break those down. What's the first pillar?
The first pillar directly attacks the concept of unverifiable skills. It's a verified employment reference.
Oh, an actual employment reference, not just a certificate.
Exactly. EON AI Ventures doesn't just hand out a completion certificate. They act as the formal issuer of employment documentation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They provide HR departments with a detailed audit of the exact AI systems the resident operated, the specific deliverables they achieved, and the tangible outcomes of their work within the residency.
Okay, so for an HR manager, or I guess an AI screening tool, this triggers a massive psychological shift.
Absolutely. They aren't looking at a transcript of academic grades anymore. They're looking at a verified, audited work history.
Right. That definitely bridges the trust gap. But what about the actual technical capability?
What do you mean?
Well, a reference says you did something, sure. But how do employers know the resident actually understands the underlying technology and isn't just, following a paint-by-numbers tutorial?
Oh, right. That is where the second pillar comes in, the AI Fluency certification. The white paper details that graduates must achieve a level 4 or level 5 on the EON AI Fluency Index.
The EON AI Fluency Index. What does a level 4 or 5 actually mean in practice?
To give that context, level 1 might be someone who knows how to type a basic prompt into a consumer chatbot.
Like asking it to write a grocery list.
Exactly. But level 4 and 5 are highly advanced. This signifies the ability to orchestrate complex systems, design autonomous agents, and integrate AI into existing business infrastructure.
Wow. And they learn all of that in the residency.
Yes. To get there, the $19 residency grants them access to a pathway of over 100 specialized, highly technical courses.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because courses and certifications are still ultimately just claims of competence.
Right.
The third pillar is a product built and owned by the resident.
Yes, this is the big one.
The text says participants use EON's no-code venture builder to ideate, construct, and actually launch a market-ready AI solution onto the EON global marketplace.
They do.
But I have to challenge this premise again. I mean, we're talking about a subscription that costs less than a gym membership.
True.
Can a product built under those circumstances actually hold the same weight as a formal degree? How do employers know this isn't just a toy project in some digital sandbox?
It holds weight because reality cannot be faked.
Okay.
Think about it. When a candidate submits their portfolio to an AI hiring system, and that portfolio includes a live product with active customer feedback, a functioning revenue model, and real-world utility.
It's hard to argue with that.
Exactly. The debate over their competence ends immediately. A university degree basically promises an employer that the candidate is ready to build a product.
Right, it's potential.
But the EON residency forces the candidate to walk into the interview and say, I already built it, here are the users, and here's how the architecture works.
That is a massive difference.
Dan Lajerskar, the founder and chairman, is actually quoted in the source material summarizing this perfectly.
No, what does he say?
He says, quote, employers care about tangible results. At $19 per month, we're not just an alternative, we're redefining what job readiness looks like in the AI era.
Wow. Okay, so the resident owns the product, and that product acts as their undeniable resume.
Exactly.
But building a viable enterprise-grade tech product requires massive server infrastructure, complex software architecture, hosting fire. All of that costs money.
A lot of money, usually.
So how does a company afford to offer that level of infrastructure for the price of a streaming subscription?
Right. To understand that, we need to look at who EON AI Ventures actually is. Because they didn't just appear out of nowhere yesterday.
No, their pedigree is deeply important here.
It really is. EON AI Ventures is driven by the leadership behind EON Reality, and they are a company with 25 years of experience in immersive learning and XR.
XR, which stands for extended reality.
Yes. That means for 2.5 decades, they have been solving the incredibly complex problem of building scalable, immersive 3D training simulations for major global industries.
So they already have the infrastructure.
Exactly. They intimately understand how to move massive amounts of data and build resilient systems.
Right.
For this residency, they are leveraging two mature existing platform businesses. First, the enterprise AI platform, which handles heavy operational intelligence.
Okay.
And second, the virtual campus or virtual compass, which provides the scalable architecture for global knowledge transfer.
And the white paper draws a really sharp, crucial distinction about the specific type of AI technology running on those platforms.
Yes, the precision gap.
Right. It points out the generic, consumer-grade AI tools. You know, the stuff you might use to brainstorm dinner recipes or write a polite email. They only deliver about 80% precision.
At best, yeah.
But EON's enterprise infrastructure is built for high-stakes operations that demand 100% precision.
That's the key difference.
Can you explain the mechanics of that gap? Why is consumer AI stuck at 80%, and how does EON guarantee 100%? It's like building a bridge, right? An AI that gets you 80% across the river is worse than useless. It's dangerous.
That's a great analogy. And it basically comes down to how the systems are fundamentally designed to behave.
Okay.
Consumer AI models are built to guess. They predict the most likely next word in a sequence.
Right, the large language model.
Yeah, that makes them incredibly creative, but it also means they hallucinate facts, which is exactly why they hover around 80% accuracy.
Right, which is fine for writing a poem, but
But in a corporate setting, an AI that is mostly right is actively destructive.
it'll hallucinate a financial report.
Exactly. Enterprise AI, which is what EON utilizes, doesn't guess. It is tightly tethered to verified internal corporate databases. It retrieves facts rather than inventing them.
Oh, I see.
It requires a completely different architectural approach to ensure that 100% precision. And that is exactly the environment the residents are trained in.
Okay, but let me make sure I'm wrapping my head around this.
Sure.
The residency uses a no-code platform.
Yes.
But if these enterprise tools require such rigid 100% precision, does a no-code system actually prepare graduates for the messy, highly technical reality of enterprise IT? Or does it just give them a walled garden to play in?
It absolutely prepares them, but we have to shift how we think about building software.
Okay, how so?
Think about building an AI system with no code, like using a massive soundboard with pre-recorded, perfectly tuned digital instruments.
Oh, like a music producer.
Exactly. You don't need to know how to physically play the violin, and you don't need to know how to tune a drum kit. The platform ensures the instruments are perfectly tuned.
And that's the 100% precision infrastructure at work.
Precisely. What the resident provides is the composition. They need to know when to bring the violin in, how the drums interact with the bass line, and ultimately, what kind of song the market actually wants to buy.
So the platform guarantees the code works, but the resident has to supply the logic.
Yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the white paper is explicitly clear that the program teaches autonomous AI system design.
Which is very different from just coding.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Modern enterprises don't need more junior developers writing raw code from scratch anymore.
Right, because AI already does that faster and cheaper.
Exactly. They need systems thinkers. They need people who can spot a massive inefficiency in a company's workflow, orchestrate 3 different AI models to solve it, and deploy it securely.
They don't need typists. They desperately need architects.
That's a perfect way to put it. And no-code platforms allow the residents to focus purely on that architecture and market fit.
That makes perfect sense. The value is entirely in the orchestration.
Right.
But I want to circle back to the economics because this is the piece that feels almost too good to be true.
The $19.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even with existing infrastructure, $19 a month is astonishingly low.
Mm-hmm.
How is this financially sustainable without them just going bankrupt or relying on venture capital charity?
Well, the sustainability relies on this really brilliant alignment of incentives that the text calls the EON Ambassador Program.
Okay.
The white paper outlines a system where residents can earn a 30% recurring referral commission for bringing new people into the residency.
Oh, wow.
And there is no ceiling on those referrals.
So it's a referral code.
It is much more powerful than a standard referral code. The paper actually refers to it as a self-sustaining acquisition flywheel.
Meaning what exactly?
In plain English, that means they have turned their own student body into a highly motivated viral marketing agency.
Oh.
Think about it. A resident could refer 4 friends and completely offset their own $19 monthly cost. Their education becomes entirely free. And if they refer 40 people, their education suddenly becomes a monthly income stream while they are learning.
That completely neutralizes the financial barrier.
Entirely.
They don't need to spend millions on traditional advertising campaigns or like university recruitment drives because the community handles the acquisition for them.
Exactly. That is how the math works at $19.
Man. So what does this all mean? If we step back and view the entire canvas we've covered today, we are witnessing a complete, uncompromising inversion of how society handles workforce entry.
Absolutely.
For generations, the accepted path was basically a grueling endurance test, right? Wait 4 years, accumulate up to $80,000 in debt, and just pray that a piece of watermarked paper would convince an HR manager to take a gamble on you.
And this source text reveals a totally new reality.
Right. Graduates now have the option to spend a few months in pocket change to utilize enterprise-grade infrastructure, create verifiable value, and physically own the proof of their capability. We are watching the definitive shift from a culture of pedigree to a culture of portfolio.
That phrasing is exactly right. From pedigree to portfolio, the market no longer asks, where did you sit in a classroom?
Nobody cares anymore.
No. The only question that matters now is, what systems have you successfully deployed?
What?
And by elevating affordability, accountability, and accessibility simultaneously, this residency provides a structured pipeline for anyone, anywhere, to definitively answer that second question.
It's a harsh reality check for legacy institutions.
It's very harsh, but it's a massive opportunity for the individual.
And to you, listening right now, this shifting landscape is not a future problem. It affects your reality today.
Right now.
Because whether you are charting your own career trajectory and realizing your old credentials might be expiring, or whether you're an executive realizing your company is filtering out the exact builders you need because your hiring metrics are outdated, the shift from pedigree to portfolio is actively happening in 2026.
It is. And, this raises an incredibly important question. It's the thought I want to leave you with to mull over. We established earlier that young graduates are hitting an experience wall because they're being systematically blocked by AI-powered hiring algorithms.
Right, the unfeeling algorithm.
Exactly. But we also established that this new residency empowers graduates to build and own their own autonomous AI systems.
Yeah.
So consider the inevitable collision here. What happens when the capstone product a resident builds in this $19 program ends up being a highly efficient, autonomous AI HR system?
Oh, wow.
A system that screens, evaluates, or even entirely replaces the traditional HR managers of tomorrow.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Are we rapidly accelerating toward a world where AI is not just the unfeeling gatekeepers keeping people out, but also the very key being forged by the outsiders to dismantle those gates entirely?
That is a brilliant, just mind-bending paradox to consider.
It really is.
The outsiders building the system that replaces the insider.
Exactly.
That is an incredible place to wrap up our analysis. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it gave you the exact insight you need to navigate the rapid changes happening right now. Keep questioning those old legacy models, and we will catch you next time.